Hey, Spud Squad! Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're having an awesome beginning to the new year. My hair is crazy, per usual. So, did you see the latest episode of Beast Games? Okay, so Beast Games came on Thursday on Amazon Prime. This is the show with Mr. Beast where he's giving away $5 million and a bunch of other prizes. And we get to see one of the other prizes finally this week. So we left off after episode 3 with people getting into these helicopters. There were only 60 spots for people to get into the helicopters. 10 helicopters, 6 seats per helicopter. And there were different games that they played in order to get a seat on the helicopter, get a golden ticket, very Willy Wonka-esque. Okay, so we first start off with they have to play the first game in order to get a ticket. They have to find it, right? He has hidden one ticket somewhere on the grounds of that city, right? So everybody takes off in all different directions looking for this golden ticket. The guy finds it under the ping pong table and he gets to pick 5 people to go on the chopper with him. Now, the first 2 choppers, so the first 12 people, were all men. 12 men on this, headed to the island. And the disappointment for me, of course, is I'm thinking, where are the ladies? Why are there no women on this, right? On any of these choppers. So I want to make sure that it doesn't just become all men that continue to go forward, because they're choosing the next, each person who wins the first golden ticket gets to pick who gets on the chopper with them. So they then have another game. Once this guy, he takes his 6 people, now there's another game. The next game, they're given a red ball, right? Not quite as big as the balls that you used to play dodgeball with in elementary school, but they're each given a red ball and they're blindfolded. Now they have to count down 10 minutes in their head. So if they are still holding the ball after the 10 minutes expires, they're eliminated. Okay? But only the first 6, or the 6 that are the closest to exactly 10 minutes, get a seat on the helicopter, right? So this is when we finally get to see some women, because it was more random, I guess you would say, than each individual getting to pick who got on the chopper with them. So we end up with a decent mix of men and women that were with the 6 that were closest to that 10-minute mark. Okay. So then they play another game where they have the opportunity to each person gets a coin, one of these little coins, a little Beast Game coin, and they're told that of the remaining players, it was like 140 some odd players that were remaining at this point, maybe a few less than that they needed to, one person had to have at least 100 coins. And whomever that person was that got 100 coins would get to pick the next, 6. They would be 1 and then 5 more people that would get on the next helicopter. And so here's where I get to my unpopular opinion for the episode, okay? So this guy, and I didn't even bother to retain his name, he annoyed me so badly, okay? Now, I grew up in a very religiously strict home, okay? So it bugs me when people use religion or their belief in God, or when they make it a spectacle, right? Now, if you like it, I love it. If that's what you're about, be about it. Do you. If it makes you feel good, if it makes you feel fulfilled, if it helps you to be a good person and bring light into the world, do what you need to do in order to make that happen, okay? But I cannot stand when people put it on display, when they make it seem, they make the theatrics of it all. It just annoy me. And so remember how I told you in episode 2, they had 4 people, they had 4 different teams, and they picked a team captain, sent them up to the top of the tower, and they were given a bribe up to $1 million in order to eliminate the team. If they take the $1 million, their team would be eliminated, but they would get to stay. And I told you, I'd have taken the money. But anyway, we move on, right? One of the guys that was up on the tower as a team captain, still in the game now, had been playing up his belief in God, his religious connection, his, beliefs and so on and so forth. And it was very Tim Tebow-esque to me. Okay, so Tim Tebow was the quarterback for Denver for, I think, like one season, maybe two. But he would, before every game, he would take a knee and like hit the, the pose, like the thinking man pose almost, where he would have his hand on his knee like he was, on his forehead with his elbow on his knee like he was praying. And everybody started calling it a Tebow, praying before the game. And why put it on display? Now you make it theatrical versus, and now it seems ingenuine, right? And so this guy, when he, people that had been on his team before when he turned down the $1 million, now started chanting for him to get the 100 coins, right? And it seemed very culty to me. I didn't like it. It made me uncomfortable, okay? But he was able to get 103 coins, right? So now that he has his 103 coins, he has to be the one to make the decision about who the other 5 people are that get on this particular chopper with him, right? And what a lot of people had noticed was that, again, the majority men had been on these choppers. And so they wanted to be sure that the next person, that there were some women taking on this chopper. They did not want him to only pick men to go on this chopper, right? And so a lot of people didn't want to give him the coin because they felt like he was ingenuine, which I get it. Like I said, that's how I felt a little bit. And so when he gets the 100 coins, he falls to his knees. He does this whole like prayer, out loud in the microphone. He's praying. He's got the whole group, well, not the whole group, but a lot of people in the group that are involved in this prayer with him and this and the third. And it just rubbed me the wrong way. Okay. Unpopular opinion. Again, this is a safe space. It's my opinion. Share yours in the comments. Safe space. Okay. So, he ends up picking 2 men, right? So now we got 3 men, 3 seats taken with men again. He gives each of them a ticket. They each pick another man, right? And so, of course, the women who had given him their coin, and it's expressly asked that he please pick some women to go on this chopper, were enraged, which they had a right to be. You know what I'm saying? Here you are, making a theatrical spectacle of your belief in God, and then you're not keeping your word? That don't make no sense. You know what I'm saying? Anyhow, so he, at the last ticket, he goes over and gives it to one of the women that asked him specifically, are you going to choose women? Because I told, this many women to give you their coin because you agreed to choose women, right? And oddly enough, it was the woman who tried to sabotage the players during the 10-minute countdown, right? When they had their little ball and they had to keep track of 10 minutes in their head and drop as close to the 10-minute mark as possible. When she dropped her ball, she just started screaming out random numbers to throw people off. And of course, those that, knew that it was her that did that were deeply offended by the fact that of all the women there, he gave her the ticket, and she was the one who was, sabotaging this, then the third. And then after he makes this decision to give it to 4 men and 1 woman, he then goes into this whole spiel about that's how the Spirit led him, and he just did what the Spirit told him to, which of course enraged the other people that were like, well, I talk to God every day, and I know full well God didn't tell him to do that. Ain't no way in the world God was talking to him about doing that. But anyhow, that's how that game went. And then there were several others. You know what I'm saying? They had another bribe. If you want, a piece of $250K, then go up this side of the tower. If you want to continue with your chances, go up this side of the tower. They did that. And so, so many people left with, I think, maybe $16,000, $13,000 a piece. And then you had the others that continued on in the game, and they had to throw one of those red balls again as close to this golden suitcase as possible. It was a gold suitcase and very small, obviously small target from the height of the top level of that tower. And the person that got closest, which thankfully this time was a lady, she got closest. She got to pick the other 5 people that would go on the chopper with her. And I believe she picked all women. So then we had a whole chopper of just women. And then, last but not least, they had one more game that they had to play to get on the chopper. They had to stand on a platform in groups of 6. So they congregated together in groups of 6. Each group on a different platform. There were 9 platforms, and one person from each group had to get all 6 coins. Once they collected all 6 coins and stepped off the platform, the first 6, one person from each platform, the first 6 to do that would get a seat on the chopper. And so one girl had already said, "I'm going to sacrifice myself for you guys. I think I've gone as far as I can, so I'm just going to sacrifice myself." And so once the rules were given, everybody gave her their coin immediately, and she jumped off and ran in, and she was like, here are the coins, they get to go. And then he was like, "No, that's not how the rules work. They sacrifice themselves for you. You get to go on the chopper." And she was the very first one that got to go on that chopper. And so she, of course, was very grateful, and she was like, I thought I was the one making the sacrifice, and she was in tears and whatnot. And so then the other 5 people figure out different games to play, rock, paper, scissors, or heads and tails, whatever, to get, for someone to get all 6 coins and then get off the platform. And so once those 6 were done, that was the end of it. Everybody left there was eliminated, and that ended up being about 50 people that were eliminated. So now you have the 60 people that have made it to the island. Yay! They got to the island. So what do, right? They're now given a choice. This island is the prize, right? So you have the choice to either move on to the next round, say, I don't want to play for the island. I want to play for the big prize. The island is worth $1.8 million. But if you don't need an island, who doesn't need an island? I'm kidding. I wouldn't want to play for the island either. But that's beside the point. You can just move on to the next stage and enjoy a vacation for a couple days while this game plays out, right? It's a beautiful resort on the other island. Go do your thing. However, if you do choose to play for the island, what you're playing is an elaborate game of hide and seek. And you're being hunted by 4 Navy SEALs, okay? So I think about, it was 8 or 9 people that did choose to try to play for the island. And now they have these 4 Navy SEALs that jump out of a helicopter and come up onto the beach. And they're now hunting these 9 people. And whoever stays hidden or does not get captured, the last person to get captured, the last person standing who did not get captured, now wins this $1.8 million island. So while there was drama in this episode, it wasn't quite as emotionally gripping. Like, you didn't get to hear so many backstories of people like you did before, and just the games that were played to get them to the island this time wasn't quite as intense. But I'm pretty sure that the episode this week that comes on Thursday on Amazon Prime will be pretty intense, because we're going to be watching these Navy SEALs hunt these people down on this island. So guys, are you watching the show? If so, please let me know in the comments what you're thinking, what stands out to you, what your favorite game was. If you picked out the player that you think is going to win the whole thing, if you picked out the player you don't want to win the whole thing. Okay, so I want to read your comments. Y'all have a wonderful rest of the day, and we'll talk soon. Bye.